Hello students, welcome to URL NEET classes. Today we are going to discuss a topic called as biotechnology and its application, which is a chapter of 12th class, and of course the chapter number is also 12th. So first let's see the introduction about the biotechnology applications, and after that slowly we will see its importance as well. So from the biotechnology, what we have learned, biotechnology is a technique where the living organisms are modified by using the genetic engineering and core technology of enzymes and plasmids. We are able to modify all the organisms. So those organisms we are going to call them as genetically modified organisms. So those are like we created genetically modified microbes, genetically modified fungi, genetically modified plants, genetically modified animals. So depends on our interest, we are going to use these animals for the sake of our wanted results. For example, when you want to test a drug on the humans, first we will test on the animals. For that purpose, we are going to create a genetically modified animal. So we test those drugs on those animals, and we will evaluate the safeties and everything. Then everything was successful in the animals. Then we will use on the humans. So like that, based on the interest and the research and what type of product we want, we will select the respective organisms from this chart. So genetically modified organisms are going to give basically two things to us, or two products for us. Those are biopharmaceuticals and biologicals. So what are biopharmaceuticals? So these are the molecules which are going to come from the living organisms or the cells. Okay, so those we are going to use as a medicine or like therapeutic agents, whatever it is. But the things which are coming from the living things, it can be plant or animal, so those molecules will come under biopharmaceuticals. Come to the biologicals, example is genetically modified animals or simply transgenic animals, which we are using for many purpose, like to understand the normal physiology of the animal, and we are going to understand the disease in animals, so those are called as disease models, and we are going to test our drugs in that. Okay, so such kind of things we are going to get from these genetically modified organisms as a biologicals. So applications of biotechnology. So first one is therapeutics. What is therapeutics, ma? The branch of medicine concerned with the treatment of disease and the action of remedial agents. When you see on the left side of the picture, left side of the PPT, you can see a picture that is going to show in how many ways we are targeting this cancer. That means what are the biomolecules are there, and how they are helping in treating the cancer, and how we are going to synthesize and we are going to synthesize those molecules with the help of biotechnology, and we will try to treat this cancer. We try to treat that cancer. All right. Come to the other diagram called as humulin, which is already synthesized with the help of the bacteria to treat the diabetes conditions. Okay, that is what kind of diabetes condition, ma? What? Diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus. Okay, so this is one of the application of biotechnology called as therapeutics. Next, diagnostics. What is diagnostics, ma? It is a process of using tests and procedures to identify the cause of a disease or illness. So how it is useful, ma? See, right now we have seen this HCG strips, which we used for the pregnancy test or simply pregnancy kit. Okay, so these HCG molecules we separated, and for that we developed a special sensor molecules that we coated on those strips. So when we take a pregnant woman urine and we pour onto the strips on the sample holder, slowly to diffuse to the strips, so that the sensory molecules which are present or signal molecules which are present in it, one, they are going to combine with the HCG molecule and they give a color code. Got it, ma? One thing. And the second thing, when you go to the laboratories, they'll take 5 to 10 ml of your blood, and they will search for different types of molecules or enzymes in their blood for the sake of liver diseases. So based on their increased decreased levels, we can predict the person's having that disease or not. Got it, ma? So for whatever the molecules we are detecting in that one, Okay, we require the microorganisms like antibodies or reactive molecules. So which are going to come from this biotechnology or from these microorganisms that we used in diagnostic purpose. So you can see a lot of things on the screen, general test and priority infection test. Okay, so if you see that liver based test, next one HIV, malaria, and tuberculin, that is a tuberculin skin test, nothing but tuberculosis disease we are going to test with that one. Next, syphilis, which is an STD, and this side we can see blood typing, pregnancy test. Next, urine dipstick microscopy methods, and whole blood things like that. All the different things we are going to do in this diagnostics. So next application of biotechnology is creating the genetically modified crops. So on the screen you can see a lot of different types of crops which are genetically modified to give the better yield and pest resistant. The main thing of creating genetically modified plants, what is the importance? My first one is pest resistant, because whatever the plants are growing on the earth, they are going to damaged by this pest. Because of that only their growth will be inhibited or growth will be tampered. Because of that, yield or the fruits coming from them also will be reduced. So we can try insecticides and pesticides, but they have a lot of side effects. Okay, so to prevent these things, we are using these genetically modified crops which are going to have a special genes in them or special molecules in them which will repel or which will kill the pest, so the plant can grow happily and give the better yields. So this is one of the best applications of biotechnology, that nothing but genetically modified crops. Next, biotechnology application in processed food. So biotechnology in the food processing sector makes use of microorganisms for the preservation of food and for the production of a range of value-added products such as enzymes, flavor compounds, vitamins, microbial cultures, and food ingredients. Okay. For example, for the sake of preparation of the cheese, we are going to use different types of microorganisms like yeast. Okay. So because of that, what happened? Or lactobacillus or Sharmani, all these are going to be useful in the fermentation of the partially digested proteins in the curd that will transform into cheese. Okay. And also one of the product is what vinegar. That vinegar we will add in a lot of the processed foods which are in liquid or paste in nature. So their lifespan can be increased, or the shelf life of the product can be increased. Got it, ma? You may get the doubt now that processed food is good or bad. See, adding the microorganisms product for certain extent is okay. But apart of that, they are adding some chemical agents which are act like a stabilizers or acid regulating one. So those are the main culprits to cause diseases in the humans of kidney, liver, and brain. Every systems are getting affected. So please be away from, far away from this processed food, especially ultra processed foods, which are easily available in the market in each and every shop. So please be careful, ma. Next application of the biotechnology is bioremediation. What is bioremediation? Is a process that uses living or dead biological systems to remove pollutants from the environment. It can be used to treat air, water, soil, and industrial effluents. For example, let's talk about bioremediation of petroleum products. We know that it is going to come from the crude oil. The crude oil will get from the basins of the ocean. So at that time when they're transporting the big ship container, sometimes accidentally leakage will happen or drowning of the ship happen. At that time this oil will float on the surface of water, seawater. So what happens, whatever the aquatic animals, they require oxygen, that will be reduced, because we know that air containing oxygen will dissolve in the water based on this pressure gradient. But now in between this process, in between there is an oil layer. So this mixing of oxygen in the water will be reduced. Second thing, whatever the animals are coming on the surface for the sake of breathing, they will be coated, they will be drowned in these particular oils. They'll totally coated with their throughout their body surface. So they are unable to survive and they will die. So to avoid these problems, we are using nowadays immediately absorbing pads we are going to use. So after how much we can absorb with that absorbing pads, then we release one bacteria called as Pseudomonas putida, which will go and eat that crude oil and clear those components from the surface of water. So when we use a microorganism to remove these kind of things, pollutant, then it is called as bioremediation. So next application of the biotechnology is wastewater treatment or sewage water treatment or sewage treatment. So biotechnology is used in wastewater treatment through methods such as activated sludge, trickling filters, oxidation ponds, biofilters, anaerobic treatment, biotrickling filters, composting units, and biogas reactors. All these are different techniques to remove the organic substance present in the sewage water. Remember, in the sewage water, we are calling it as a polluted one because of presence of lot of organic matter. To eat this organic matter, different types of organisms will come. Got it? So we, in this particular treatment time, we use aerobic organisms to remove this organic component. Then we'll make that water palatable or reusable one. Got it, ma? In this purpose, we are going to use microorganisms like algae, fungi, bacteria, but all are the aerobic one, ma. So when we are using these kind of microorganisms, so it is one of the best applications of the biotechnology too. So next we move on to the biotechnological applications in agriculture. So far just now you got a clarity where else we can use these biotechnology applications. Out of all that one, first we selected how it is useful in the agriculture. So why we are focusing on agriculture, ma'am? See, it is a method followed in India. Most of the population, they use this method to give the food to us. Got it, ma? In this agriculture, a lot of process methods are there. Got it? So when you go to these olden days, our grandparents and great grandparents, they used to follow simple methods. Simply they used to bring the seeds from the forest. So they clear a land. Simply they will put the seeds, put some amount of water. So they used to get the yield, but that is very, very less. Got it, ma? So as the brain development happening, as the exploration is happening in our ancestors or that our grandparents, they started using the natural manures which are available around them. So that we can call in simple way as organic agriculture. But still, that organic agriculture is not giving enough quantities of crop yields to support the exploding population. Because it is a organic agriculture, very cumbersome process. It doesn't contain any scientific methods. Got it? I mean advanced scientific methods. So simply by adding the green manure, vermicompost and compost or animal excretas, so the plant will get nutrients. But to fight against these pests and insects in the organic farming, it's very difficult. Got it? So we are not going to use any pesticides and insecticides in the organic agriculture now. So in that what we are going to do, so we will use some other plant extracts to kill these insects. But it is not going to be highly effective because of the distribution of this insect population. Got it? So it requires a proper managemental things that in the future, if every farmer in every village and in every state, if they follow all together, so they can get the better results. Got it? So because when this organic farming is happening, okay, so at that time famine conditions were prevailed in India because of no rainfalls, because of less amount of underground water. Whole India went into the famine condition, especially North India. Got it, ma? So at that time, okay, we introduced agrochemical based agriculture into the India. Got it? So that we see one by one. Got it? So once these two were failed, that means agrochemical based agriculture and organic agriculture, when they are not giving enough quantities of the yield for the, yield or food for the exploding population, then the scientists focused on the alternate things which will give more yield compared to these things. So at that time, we created this genetically engineered plants which are used in the agriculture. So let's see one by one. So in the agrochemical based agriculture, we are going to use agrochemicals products like what, ma? Fertilizers, pesticides, plant growth hormones and crop growth regulators. Okay. Green Revolution. Green Revolution is a part of agrochemical based agriculture things. Okay, this was introduced to India by M.S. Swaminathan, who born in 1925 and passed away in 2023. Okay, under the part of this Green Revolution, this Swaminathan brought the methods of agriculture from the foreign countries or from the Western world, which includes using these artificial fertilizers and pesticides and insecticides to increase the yield. Got it? So why he has to introduce this one? Because at the time of his introduction during 1960s, as I said, whole India was under famine conditions because of no consecutive rainfalls. Got it? So he roamed the America and he went to Mexico, and where he met with Norman and he discussed about the Indian conditions, and both discussed about the Indian subcontinent weather conditions and other factors like availability of water, temperatures, salinity, pH, everything they considered, and they brought the best varieties that can survive in these kind of typical situations. Okay, so that bringing that varieties into the India is under the program called as Green Revolution. So during the 1960s, he introduced modern industrial agriculture practice to the country, including high yielding varieties of cereals, pesticides, fertilizers, irrigation, and mechanized farm tools are introduced. So what is the primary goal of a green revolution, ma? To help to reduce the poverty and malnutrition by increasing food production. So in the program of green revolution, first time India received a cargo of hybrid wheat seeds from Mexico during the famine conditions, and they were planted in the Punjab region using new agricultural methods, and drastically the yield of these wheat was increased. On that day, what happened in India, till today we are enjoying the fruits of that, but it has its own side effects. What are those side effects, ma? Because of using high amount of fertilizers and pesticides, it is giving a direct impact on the nature and also affecting the health of the humans and animals who are depending on them. So that's why the scientists are focusing the better one where we can use less pesticides, which will has a least impact on the nature we are trying. Got it, ma? So in that process, we have seen the best method is what, ma? Genetically modified crops. Okay, so we'll go to that one as soon after this next slide. So did you understand about this agro-based agriculture, ma? In that green revolution is the major part. So these are the artificial fertilizers which are available in the market, ma, that you can see as NPK, urea, and DAP, diammonium phosphate. Got it? These are used by the farmers as per the requirement of the plants suggested by these agricultural scientists or officers. So this is the personality called as MS Swaminathan. He is the father of green revolution in India, because he introduced the high yielding varieties, as I said, from that time onwards, by practicing irrigation methods and how to give the supplements to the plants. By following all these methods, till today we are getting enough amount of food. So we sustained from the deficiency or lack of food. So the second one in the agriculture thing is organic farming. As I discussed already, we are not going to use an advanced methods. Okay, so it's very near to the nature. How the nature affect the plants, that's how the plants will grow. Same thing in the organic farming. So we are going to use manures. We are going to use vermicompost, which will contain the nitrogen content, which will strengthen the plants instead of using urea. Got it? So when the plants are got affected with the insects or any pest, at the time we use different types of plants products like a neem leaf extracts or tobacco leaf extracts, which are going to use as insecticides or pesticides. Second thing, we are going to use the crop rotation method. So the availability and the use of the nutrients from the soil varies from crop to crop. So to maintain the equilibrium and balance, this crop rotation will help a lot to maintain the liveliness, that means the mineral composition in the soils. Got it? So and also they use animal husbandry products, whatever the cow dung, whatever the droppings of the birds are there, they used as a nitrogen source for the plants as well. So this whole thing where we are not going to use any kind of chemicals which are synthesized in the factories. Whatever the things available in the nature, that only we use as a nutrients for the plants in a type of farming called as organic farming. In this, the yield is very less, and it's a cumbersome process, because to prepare this one, a farmer need to spend a lot of time. For example, to get this green leaf extracts as an antibiotics or simply against the insects as an insecticide. It's a cumbersome process. First, the farmer need to collect the leaves. He need to mash them into paste-like thing. Then he has to keep them in a cloth. Then the cloth need to be dumped into the drum of water. Have to wait for 2-3 days. So the extracts which are present in that bundle of cloth which contain the neem leaves, that will diffuse out from that bundle into the surrounding drum water. Then it's a concentrated solution of insecticide. They should dilute in a proper for the liters. They need to spray. So this much cumbersome process. During this time, the farmer goes any wrong with any ingredient, there is no proper things, then the effectiveness of those things will be reduced. So because of this organic farming, the products are healthy, but the yield is very less. Because the population is ever expanding, the products coming from the organic farming won't feed the mouths of this expanding population. So what we are going to, so that's why what we are going to do, ma, we are going to see towards the genetically modified crops. So as we discussed already, agrochemical based agriculture is expensive and harmful effects on environment and limited yield with existing varieties. Whatever the new variety you create, it has a saturation point because of the environmental factors are changing point to point or time to time or season to season. And second thing, organic farming, it is going to give the less yield and cumbersome process. So these are the disadvantages about the practice of these two types of practicing of agriculture. So that's why we are going for what, ma? Genetically engineered crop based agriculture. So why we need to choose only genetically engineered crops, ma? In this case, right now in the present situation, we are using genetically engineered crops. Okay, in the future, if we get a new technology or if we had a better understanding of the plants, maybe we'll come with a new idea how to get the best yields. So presently, all the scientists are focusing on genetically engineered one. So what is the specialty of the genetically engineered plants, ma? These crops are more tolerant to abiotic stress, that is like a cold, drought, salt and heat conditions. They can survive these stress conditions. So till they get the favorable conditions, they can withstand the stress conditions. So the genetically engineered plants reduce their dependence on chemical pesticides and help to reduce post-harvest losses. Increased efficiency of mineral usage by plants, and enhanced nutritional value of the food. That is nothing but, we are creating the genetically modified plants act like a biofortification. They are going to hold a type of nutrients rich in quantities, so that we are using as an alternate source for that vitamins. For example, golden rice, which is an alternate one for the vitamin A. Generally, we get vitamin A from the leaves, okay, leafy vegetables, and an animal food like a liver. Okay, so the person who are eating the leafy vegetables and carrot, generally containing the carotene pigments, are used by the body to convert them into vitamin A. But the availability of these nutrients are not same for everyone in this world. So scientists focused on a genetically modified crop, nothing but a rice. In that, automatically the rice will synthesize the carotene pigments and deposit in the rice grains. So that rice grain looks like yellow in color. That's what is called as golden rice. So all these are the advantages we are seeing right now for the genetically engineered crops. Got it? So main thing, we are not going to this as per the second point, the chemical insecticides or pesticides what we are spraying on the genetically modified plants is very, very, very less. Got it? So that's why whatever the impact is happening on the nature can be reduced. So for the immediate solution, we are searching for these genetically modified crops. So the next concept is in the biotechnology applications in agriculture, what type of plants we created, that we are going to see in the next video. That is nothing but BT cotton. Okay, ma? So let's meet in the next video. That is a continuation of our biotechnology applications. So please like to reach more students like you, ma. And please do the comment whatever you required or any extra concept you require. Please comment in the comment section. And if you like this content, please share to your friends who are in need like you. And to stay with me, please subscribe.